Happy New Year and welcome to the first market update of 2024, brought to you by the Reby Homes team. Remember all of those headlines from last year that tried to convince the world the sky was falling? Well, spoiler alert, they were wrong. So let's talk about it. Starting with appreciation. Although the correction in 2022 did cause some losses, 2023 ended with 7% appreciation, which is 1% higher than the peak of 2022, meaning all losses that were recorded were recovered. Now, I'm not sure about you, but that doesn't sound like a crash to me. And here's a look at the 2024 home price forecast from MBA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Home Price Expectation Survey, Goldman Sachs, NAR, Zillow, and Realtor.com. They're predicting an average appreciation rate in 2024 of 1.5%. Here's the estimated home price performance over the next 5 years. This is according to the Home Price Expectation Survey by Fannie Mae, which polls over 100 housing experts across the industry. You can see they had appreciation at 5.9% in 2023, and they're predicting 2.3% appreciation in 2024, 2.7% in 2025, 3.7% in 2026, 4% in 2027, and 4.15% in 2028. That means for those who purchase a $400,000 home this month could be looking at just over $72,000 in potential equity growth over the next 5 years. Here's a look back at historical appreciation dating back to 1980. The 42-year average annual appreciation rate is about 4.92%. With the way things are trending in our market today and with the home expectation survey results, it's reasonable to draw the conclusion that we'll likely see a return to that 5% appreciation range. And moving on to everyone's favorite topic, mortgage rates. Here's a look at rates going back to 2018. The average interest rate in the years that led up to the pandemic was between 4.5% and 5%, and we're currently sitting around 6.5% as a national average. But with the Fed announcing that they'll be making some rate cuts this year, experts are predicting that rates will continue trending down into the low sixes and possibly even the high 5% range. This from senior economist Dean Baker. It also appears that mortgage rates are now falling again. They'll almost certainly not fall to pandemic lows, although we may soon see rates under 6%, which would be low by pre-Great Recession standards. This is great news for buyers. However, with lower rates comes more buyers. Chief economist for CoreLogic, Selma Hepp, sums it up well. With mortgage rates dropping, demand for homes in early 2024 is likely going to be strong and will again put pressure on prices. Similar to trends observed in early 2023, most markets will continue to reach new home price highs over the course of 2024. 78.7% of current homeowners have an interest rate under 5%, which is a huge reason our inventory has remained tight. The good news is with rates coming down, there may be enough incentive for folks to sell their home and open up more inventory. But it's important to note that a lot of these sellers are also going to become buyers. So yes, we'll have more inventory, but it's still likely going to be outweighed by the demand. The sooner you can get in front of the competition, the better position to be in as a buyer. And now let's dive into our local market here in the Phoenix metro area. Starting with active listings, January 1st, 2023 had just over 15,000 active listings, whereas January 1st of this year, 2024, had just over 13,000. So about 2,000 less available homes for sale than this time last year. You'll notice the drop off from May to October. That's when interest rates took an unexpected turn, eventually climbing to 8%. Because of this, many sellers decided to hold off on selling because the buyer pool was extremely limited and they didn't want to take on an 8% rate themselves. Seasonally, a drop-off is expected. However, the consistent lack of inventory throughout 2023 made for a very slow year in regards to sales volume. 2017 through 2022, the annual sales rate was between 90,000 and 100,000, but when rates took that jump in 2022, we started seeing that trend downward through 2023, ending the year with an annual sales rate of just over 68,000. But with rates finally getting some relief and some hopeful news from the Fed, plus the spring season around the corner, we're likely going to see that inventory start to pick up. So good news for buyers that are out shopping. And moving on to the average price per square foot, January of 2023 was what we now know to be the bottom of the market correction that began in 2022, and price per square foot reached a low of $271 a square foot. Then it slowly but consistently increased throughout the remainder of the year, ending at $289 a square foot. That's roughly a 7% increase. And average sales price was right on par with that. January of last year saw an average sales price of just above $526,000, and January of this year was just above $558,000, so up roughly 6%. This graph shows cumulative days on market going back to 2017, where pre-pandemic years saw an average of 55 to 65 days on market, depending on the season. We can see where that number dramatically drops during the frenzy, then we can see it spike in the opposite direction during the correction in 2022, and now it seems we're back to historical norms in 2024. Moving on to closings over list price, December 2023 saw 15% of closed homes above list. That's up from the 12% in December 2022, but way down when compared to 2021 and early 2022, where over 50% of closings were above list price. 2018 and 19 were between 13 and 15%, so it's looking like we're back to historical norms in this department as well, at least for the time being. As far as the amount over list price, this varies based on price point, of course, but anything under 800,000 is seeing anywhere from $5 to $10,000 above ask. It's important to note that with many of these closings above list, there were likely seller concessions offered in return that the buyers could use to buy their rate down. We can see here that roughly 50% of all homes that closed in 2023 had seller paid closing costs, averaging between $9,000 and $10,000. So again, it's likely that many of the homes that did sell for above list price had seller concessions. Overall, we seem to be back to pre-pandemic norms with the exception of prices, but are hopeful that 2024 will have some great opportunities in store for both buyers and sellers. As always, if we can help you in any way, answer any questions, or show you data in your specific area, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.